Everywhere you look, it seems like people are doing well. The restaurants are packed, the latest iPhones sell out in hours, and luxury SUVs fill suburban driveways. On the surface, it looks like prosperity. But look closer, and the story changes. In the richest country in the world, most Americans are still living paycheck to paycheck. Recent surveys show that nearly 60% couldn't handle a $1,000 emergency without borrowing or using a credit card. That's not just people on low incomes, it includes professionals, families, and even those earning six figures. How can that be? How can a nation overflowing with opportunity leave so many people financially fragile? It's easy to blame the economy, inflation, or housing costs, and those matter. But the deeper truth runs underneath all of that. It's cultural, it's psychological, it's systemic. Most Americans aren't broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because the system has trained them to spend first, borrow often, and save later, if ever. In this video, we'll break down the 7 biggest reasons most Americans stay broke, and more importantly, how to break free from the patterns that quietly drain your wealth year after year. Let's start with the first one, the most common and deceptive of all. Reason number 1, the illusion of wealth. It starts with a simple belief that success should look a certain way. A bigger house, a newer car, the latest phone, and a few vacations each year to prove you're doing well. But in modern America, that image of success is often built on borrowed money. Most of what looks like wealth today isn't owned, it's financed. The SUV in the driveway still has years of payments left. The house stretches the mortgage to the edge. Even the furniture, the phone, and the vacation, all bought on credit. Social media makes it worse. You scroll through perfect photos and start comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. But behind those images are student loans, credit card debt, and quiet stress. This is the illusion of wealth. Everything looks polished, but almost nothing is paid for. People chase appearances instead of freedom, trying to look rich instead of becoming rich. Real wealth doesn't show off. It grows quietly, in investments, savings, and ownership. But in a culture that rewards display over discipline, that kind of wealth is easy to overlook. And that's exactly how people get trapped, because the system doesn't just sell products, it sells a lifestyle. Let's look at how that culture keeps people spending and broke. Reason number 2, the consumption trap. From the moment you wake up, you're being sold something. The ad on your phone, the coffee on the way to work, the email about a weekend sale, it never stops. In America, spending isn't just normal, it's encouraged. We're taught that buying equals progress. So every time income rises, lifestyle rises with it. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, a better phone. It feels like success, but it's really just lifestyle inflation wearing a smile. The truth is, we don't upgrade our wealth, we upgrade our bills. And because everyone around us is doing the same thing, it feels natural, almost responsible. But this cycle keeps people trapped. They work harder, earn more, and somehow still feel behind, because every dollar earned already has somewhere to go. Spending feels rewarding. Saving feels invisible. That's why most people stay in the loop, chasing comfort instead of freedom. The only way out is direction, knowing exactly where your money should go before someone else convinces you to spend it. And that lack of direction leads straight to the next reason. Reason number 3, the missing financial blueprint. Most people work their entire lives without ever creating a real plan for their money. They earn it, spend it, maybe save a little, but there's no strategy behind any of it. And without direction, even good intentions lead nowhere. Think about it. Schools teach algebra, but not how to budget. We learn to calculate compound interest, but not how to make it work for us. So people graduate, start earning, and try to figure it out as they go, usually by guessing. The result is financial drift. You make money, you pay bills, you buy things you think you can afford, and 10 years later, you're still wondering where it all went. A plan gives your money a job. It turns vague goals like, I want to save more, into specific targets. I want to save $10,000 in the next 18 months. That clarity changes everything, because when you know exactly what you're working toward, every spending choice becomes easier. Most Americans don't have a financial plan. They have habits pretending to be one. And those habits, the automatic, unexamined ones, are exactly what led to the next trap. Reason number 4, the debt mindset. For most Americans, debt isn't a problem. It's just part of life. Car payments, credit cards, student loans, buy now, pay later. It's all been normalized. We're told it's how you build credit, how you manage life, how you afford things. But here's the reality. Debt doesn't just borrow money from the bank, it borrows freedom from your future. Every payment you owe tomorrow limits what you can do today. People no longer ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "Can I make the monthly payment?" It's a small mental shift that changes everything. Because once you start thinking that way, every purchase feels affordable, even when it's not. And while you're paying interest on things losing value, lenders are quietly building wealth off your payments. That's how wealth moves in America, from consumers to creditors. Debt gives the illusion of prosperity. It lets you live above your means today in exchange for living below them later. It feels like comfort now, but it's really a long-term trade for control. You can borrow comfort today, but you'll rent freedom tomorrow. And this mindset doesn't come from greed, it comes from emotion. Because for most people, spending and borrowing aren't financial decisions at all. They're emotional ones. Reason number 5, emotional spending. Most money problems don't start with math, they start with emotion. Stress, boredom, celebration, even loneliness. They all find their way into our spending. And every swipe of the card gives a quick hit of relief, a little moment of control. We don't buy things, we buy feelings. That's why financial logic often loses to emotion. It's not that people don't know they should save. It's that saving doesn't feel good right now. Spending gives an instant reward. Saving gives a distant one. And the human brain is wired to chase what feels good in the moment. That's how so many people end up in a cycle of emotional spending. Bad day? Order food. Good day? You deserve something nice. Every emotion becomes a reason to spend, until it's no longer a choice, it's a habit. Breaking it starts with awareness. When you pause long enough to ask why you're spending, you interrupt the pattern. Because real financial peace doesn't come from what you buy, it comes from not needing to. But even when people manage to save a little, fear often takes over. Fear of losing, fear of doing it wrong, and that fear quietly keeps them stuck. Reason number 6, the fear of risk. For many Americans, the biggest financial loss isn't from spending too much, it's from never investing at all. People tell themselves they're playing it safe, keeping money in savings where it feels secure. But over time, that safety costs more than they realize. Inflation quietly eats away at every dollar sitting idle. Your money isn't just standing still, it's shrinking. The fear of risk keeps people locked out of the very thing that builds wealth, ownership. Stocks, real estate, businesses, they all involve uncertainty, but that uncertainty is what creates opportunity. Avoiding it completely guarantees one thing: stagnation. The truth is, avoiding all risk is the riskiest move you can make. Because while you're waiting for the right time, the people who took small, smart risks years ago are now living off their returns. Wealth grows when you participate, not when you observe. And you don't need to be fearless, you just need to be informed. Start small, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. Because once you understand how to manage risk, you stop fearing it, and you start using it to your advantage. And that's where the real shift happens, when your money starts working without you. But for most people, there's one more reason that never happens. Reason number 7, the one income trap. Most Americans rely on a single paycheck, their job. It feels stable, but it's fragile. When that income stops, everything else does too. That's the danger of the one income trap. When your whole life depends on one source of money, you can't take risks or build freedom. Wealthy people think differently. They don't just earn money, they build systems that keep earning without them. Investments, side businesses, rental income, streams that keep flowing even when they're not working. One income pays the bills. Multiple incomes build freedom. And it doesn't have to start big. Even a small side project or automatic investment can begin shifting that balance. Because every extra stream of income gives you one thing most people never have: options. And that's where financial freedom truly begins. Now let's wrap this up. Because understanding why people stay broke is only half the story. Breaking the cycle. Most Americans aren't broke because they're lazy or careless. They're broke because the system was built to keep them that way, to reward spending, normalize debt, and make financial struggle feel ordinary. But here's the truth. Once you see the pattern, you can step outside of it. You don't need a massive salary or some secret investment strategy. You just need awareness and the discipline to act differently. Start by flipping the script. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference consistently, and stop chasing the version of success that's keeping everyone else broke. Wealth doesn't come from luck or timing. It comes from small, consistent choices made quietly over time. The moment you stop playing by everyone else's rules, the game changes, and your money starts working for you. If you found this helpful, watch next. 7 daily money habits that quietly make you rich. Because knowing the problem is one thing, learning the habits that fix it is where real change begins.